have you with us on Tesla Shorts Time, episode 548. It's July 21st, 2026, and I'm Patrick in Vancouver. Let's get into what's moving in the Tesla world today. Starlink V5's roof integration in the Cybercab requires a full redesign of thermal paths and pressure vents that would otherwise limit robotaxi uptime. The Cybercab becomes the first Tesla model confirmed to carry the integrated Starlink V5 terminal inside the roof cavity, rather than as an external dish. Integration replaces the traditional metal roof section with a radio frequency transparent polymer cover and a multi-layer antenna stack beneath it. Ashok noted that the connection focuses on allowing Tesla to reach vehicles and riders directly while tracking fleet performance data for operational oversight. The design draws on SpaceX patents that describe a 90% air honeycomb spacer, dual patch antennas, and copper thermal rims to move heat to the outer surface. Passive cooling, micro vents, and floating snap fits handle expansion mismatch and pressure changes during altitude shifts without fans or heaters. This architecture supports both fleet telemetry and future passenger connectivity once unsupervised robotaxi operations begin. Production of the Cybercab is already in pilot at a roughly 2 million unit annual target once scaled. While the hardware team solves these integration challenges, the supervised autonomy software continues its own rapid iteration cycle. Tesla has begun distributing the FSD V14 Lite build beyond the initial small group. The AI chief hinted the version may soon reach a broader release under the established supervised cadence. Multiple reports show birds flying directly across the path of a vehicle running FSD V14.3.5, with no braking response or avoidance maneuver recorded. The observer noted the system showed no flinch during those crossings. Regulators still require human oversight for city street operation, while HW5 development remains on a separate track. Watch for whether later point releases add explicit bird or small object handling. The light rollout follows the established cadence of supervised releases, moving the program forward on data collection and refinement. The same supervised testing that surfaces these edge cases is also drawing attention from cities and first responders. First responders in Austin report ongoing difficulties interacting with Tesla robotaxis during incidents. Local rules give cities limited authority to impose new operating conditions on the vehicles. The issue surfaces as supervised FSD continues wider testing with no unsupervised deployment dates set. Watch for whether state legislation changes the regulatory tools available to cities. Supervised FSD testing in Austin fits the pattern of gradual geographic expansion seen in prior releases. On the positive side, Tesla's current vehicle lineup continues to show strength in key markets. The Model Y is positioned to finish as the top-selling vehicle in Europe for June. The Dacia Sandero remains the year-to-date leader across all powertrains. Tesla's European volume continues to draw from Giga Berlin output. June EV sales across the region rose 52% year-over-year. The Model Y and Model 3 accounted for a large share of that growth. The increase comes despite broader industry production adjustments. Giga Berlin production supports the Model Y's European position, while the broader EV segment shows renewed growth after earlier adjustments. Model Y also features an automatic seat and liftgate reversal when an obstruction is detected during powered movement. The system prevents damage to the vehicle or items during passenger loading. It uses the same sensor arrays already present for other safety functions. The capability arrives through an over-the-air software update. Similar reversal logic may appear later on additional closures or body panels. Source material lists the announcement directly from Tesla. Xpeng Australia plans multiple new models aimed at Tesla and Zeekr buyers in that market. The lineup includes vehicles positioned directly against the Model Y. Local launch timing and pricing details remain under wraps for now. The strategy expands Xpeng's presence in right-hand drive markets. Watch for the first Australian customer deliveries once the models arrive. The planned vehicles target the segment where the Model Y has held strong volume. A driver built a painted brick wall illusion on the road to test autopilot detection at highway speeds. The test checks whether the vision system treats the image as a real obstacle. Results remain anecdotal and unverified by Tsla. The experiment highlights ongoing public scrutiny of supervised autonomy limits. Watch for any official Tsla response on edge case handling. The test adds to a pattern of independent checks on vision-only performance that continue while the supervised system iterates. Bazanor highlights 6 specific updates on the refreshed Model S and Model X Signature Edition. The changes focus on interior materials, lighting, and wheel designs. Production continues at Fremont alongside other sedan and SUV lines. The additions sit at the top of the current S and X range. Watch for owner feedback on the new trim details once deliveries begin. The Signature Edition updates arrive as the S and X maintain their position as the premium end of Tesla's Fremont-built lineup. Bazanor lists 5 observable details from a Cybercab sighting at San Francisco International Airport. The vehicle showed the expected roofline and sensor layout from the We Robot reveal. No passengers were present during the observed movement. The sighting adds to early real-world visibility of the platform. Watch for additional airport or fleet testing locations. The SFO appearance fits the pattern of early public sightings that have followed the We Robot unveiling, while production remains in pilot phase. Tesla's Giga Berlin operations have added jobs while other German automakers cut positions. The plant continues to support Model Y production for European and export markets. Employment growth occurs against a backdrop of broader industry restructuring. Output remains tied to demand signals and regulatory approvals. Watch for the next quarterly employment or production update from the site. Giga Berlin's employment trajectory continues the factory's established role in Tesla's European manufacturing footprint, even as competitors reduce headcount. Even as vehicle demand holds up, investors are watching the spending side of the business closely. Tesla's heavy spending on AI infrastructure is expected to push cash flow negative in coming quarters. The company continues to fund Cortex clusters and Dojo-scale training while vehicle margins face pressure. Investors will watch whether the spending produces measurable progress on unsupervised FSD or Optimus before the next capital raise. The upcoming earnings report will give the first clear view of the burn rate trajectory. Cortex and Dojo investments remain central to the long-term capability targets for both FSD and Optimus. Vehicle roofs have always been treated as simple structural panels whose main job is to keep weather out and passengers in. Once a satellite terminal must live inside that same panel, every material choice suddenly carries thermal, RF, and pressure consequences that no traditional stamped steel roof was ever designed to handle. The Cybercab solution replaces the metal with a polymer cover and then builds an entire multi-layer antenna stack beneath it, complete with 90% air spacers and copper heat-spreading rims that move waste energy to the outer surface without fans or heaters. The same stack must also survive daily altitude changes that expand trapped air inside the honeycomb cells. Engineers therefore added intercellular microvents and a floating snap-fit chassis so the assembly can breathe and shift without delaminating. Those vents and compliant adhesives add cost and assembly steps, yet they remove the need for separate active heating elements that would otherwise drain the robotaxi's battery on cold mornings. The net result is a roof that performs 3 unrelated functions: structural cover, thermal radiator, and satellite aperture, while adding minimal mass or power draw. That multifunction approach changes the unit economics of the vehicle itself. Every watt saved on heating or every kilogram avoided in the roof improves range and therefore revenue per trip for a fleet operator. The engineering investment is front-loaded, but the recurring savings scale with every vehicle produced. The open question is whether the same roof architecture can be adapted to lower volume models without the same cost amortization, or whether it remains a Cybercab-specific solution until volumes justify broader use. Keep an eye on Q2 earnings for the first detailed look at how Cortex and Dojo spending affects near-term cash flow. That covers it for today's Tesla developments. TSLA closed at $369.57, down $11.27, 3%. Share this episode with a fellow Tesla enthusiast if you found it useful, and subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's episode. I'm Patrick in Vancouver. Thanks for being here. Quick tip from the network: try Plantarian Daily next. Daily breakthroughs in science, health, and longevity. Every NARA Network show is free at naranetwork.com. Want the written briefing with source links? Each show keeps a summaries page on naranetwork.com. Scannable, dated, and free. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.